I want to give you a quick update on how we shot our video and were able to get audio from both Jack and I while we were traveling. We actually tried 3 different setups, and we won't go into all of those variants today, but I will show you the one we ended up on that we liked the best. Now, this one requires a minimum amount of cabling, and we thought the audio quality was pretty good, so or at least good enough. So what we're looking at here is the microphone adapter for a GoPro, and connected to that we have a splitter cable. We could have used a breakout cable if you're wanting to keep your channels separate, but we didn't care about that, so we just got a simple splitter. And we connect it to 2 different microphones. We have one that connects and mounts up to pick up the audio from the person wearing the helmet, so that's mounted in the front of the helmet. And then we have a second one that's taped to one of the speakers from the communication system that we're using. So that picks up the other rider. We experimented with 2 different types of microphones. The one that we chose to use in the front is a bit more directional. The one in the back is a bit more omnidirectional, and we chose to put it in the back. We found that if the omnidirectional mic was put in the front, we were getting too much noise from the environment and from the bike, and it was hard to get the audio coming through as clear as we would want. So we ended up using a more directional microphone in the front and left the omnidirectional back attached to the speaker. And that's what we ran most of the trip. We had used a media mod for the GoPro, and that ended up actually causing us some problems because the adapter comes at a right angle out the back of the camera, on the back of the media mod. It got bumped and damaged the connector in the media mod, and we didn't know it for about a day and a half. We actually lost some audio. And so we ended up buying this one. We picked this up on the trail, and it's less prone to damage. What I did is I just zip tie it to the side of the helmet so it's kind of protected along the length of the helmet. And then we put some tape over this connector here to just keep the dust out, and it held up really well on the trail. Now, these adapters do require to use a different door on the camera, which makes them not waterproof. So what we did, we just tend to not film when it was raining. We'd put everything away, and we did notice that the microphones themselves would begin to fail if they were getting wet. But I suppose we could have carried another door and taken some wet weather shots if we make that waterproof again. So that's our setup. It made for very simple connections and a minimal amount of wiring that had to be hidden up inside the helmet. The core of a multi-speaker setup is to have, of course, a communication system that you can record the other rider's voice from. And we chose to use the PackTalk Edge. It was a great system. There's a lot of nice ones out there, but we like this one a lot. What I did back here, while it wasn't necessary to get Jack's voice or share our audio, we found that there's enough road noise that sometimes you want to wear a headset, some kind of a speaker in the ear so that you can hear more clearly. And I took the route of actually getting noise canceling headphones from Bose. I don't think they sell this unit anymore, but it fit real well in the helmet. And so it made for very comfortable riding because it was canceling the road noise and getting the audio pipe straight to your ear. And the way we connected it was we took the connector that normally comes out of so this comes out of the communication system and then hooks to the speakers that are inside your helmet. And we just put a splitter on that so that we could have an extra connection for the headphones. And we both ran this setup. Worked pretty well as long as we kept it out of the rain. The other thing you might be interested in is how we powered our camera. And the approach we took was to carry this battery charger that allowed the batteries to be mounted in a case so that they were firmly connected to the charging circuits. And then we powered that from these battery packs. And the battery packs themselves were plugged into the bike, so it was charging all the time. So we could run pretty much all day, And so we're charging up the battery packs, which we would use at night for video editing. We did already editing on our phones and use these packs to power them in the evening, and they ran it during the day. So worked really well. Kept our batteries charged up and ready to go. We never did run into an issue of running short of power. We tended to, initially when we started riding, we would just leave the cameras on all the time, and we found that there was just too much editing at the end of the day. So what we ended up doing was turning on the cameras at various points during the day, and that means you could miss some things that take place, but for the most part it worked pretty well and certainly reduced the amount of editing that we did at night. All right, so that's our setup. The core of it is the intercom system, and then 2 microphones coming through a splitter or a breakout cable, depending on how you want to handle your channels, into the camera. And we liked it a lot. It seemed to work really well for us.